right? Preparing to live stream the meeting.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for logging in, and we are going to start officially in another 5 minutes. I am Loy Parks from CARICAD. Welcome. And while we are waiting for the official start, as usual, I am always curious to hear from you. Where are you joining us from today? Where are you joining us from today? Can you believe it is the last in our webinar series? And we have been having people joining us from literally all over the world. So Vanessa is joining us from Dominica. Great. I see Stephanie Matthews, who I believe is joining from Jamaica. Yes. Raul, welcome. Joining us from the Philippines. Alisma joining us from Tortola. Primrose from Dominica. Vernon also from Dominica. Craig, hi Craig. He is Jamaican, but joining us today from Nebraska. Fantastic. Leon also joining from Dominica. Muhammad Dali, welcome. We have a special welcome for him later. Joining from Azerbaijan. Alien joining us from the BVI. Suzette from Trinidad. I love it. Oh no, it's now the Republic of Congo. No, but you're now in the Republic of Congo. Oh, man of global movements, Muhammad Dali. Welcome to you all. I didn't say where I was joining from. I am joining from Kingston, Jamaica. Rachel, welcome. Also joining from Trinidad. And I trust that you have been really enjoying the webinar series. If you missed any of the previous 3 webinars, you can always catch up on those by watching it via our YouTube channel. Just look for Caribbean Center for Development Administration, and you'll see the link to the other webinars in this very wonderful, informative webinar series. And you'll also see the links to previous webinars that we have done over the years. And I see other people who are telling us where they're joining from. Permanent Secretary Soyinka Grogan from Guyana, welcome. Mignon also joining from Dominica. Lots of Dominicans today. Yes. Verna, one of our esteemed leadership development program alumni, joining us from St. Lucia. Denisa joining us from Jamaica. Cindy from Trinidad. Glenn from Dominica. Rosemary, also another esteemed alumni from our leadership development program, joining us from the British Virgin Islands. Welcome to you all. Karina joining us also from Trinidad. Arlene Estwick, another one of our leadership development alumni. Welcome. So we just want to make sure that, yes, all the relevant persons who are to be here are here. So, my trusted virtual producer, let me know if you are ready for us to officially start.
Yes, Larry, I'm going to start the recording.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And just in case you're joining from a different part of the world where it might be good evening to you. We are delighted to have been able to have this collaboration ourselves from the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, CARICAD, partnering with UN DESA, that is United Nations Department for Economic and Social Affairs, to bring this very, very informative webinar series. Today is the last. You know, they say all good things come to an end. This is webinar 4 in the webinar series on innovation, digital government, and changing mindsets for public sector transformation. And for this webinar 4, we are going to be looking at country experiences on changing mindsets, innovation, and digital government. And so we'll be hearing from country experiences from the Caribbean and around the world, where we look at the real live experiences that are happening in this area to learn from the difficulties and to learn from the triumphs and the lessons that we can take going forward as we continue the journey of innovation, digital government, changing mindsets for public sector transformation, and the promotion of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And I am Dr. Loy Parks. I'm the Leadership Development and Institutional Strengthening Specialist with CARICAD. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so what are we trying to achieve today? In today's webinar, we want to share real world experiences in public sector digital transformation, looking at the challenges, the journey, the successes. We are also looking at what are the lessons learned and what are the various approaches that have been taken by respective countries and regions to changing mindsets. And we want to reflect on what are the key insights that we've been getting, not only from this webinar, but from the entire webinar learning journey. And so on the agenda, we're going to be having a presentation on ASAN Public Services, followed by a presentation on the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. And that will be followed by a presentation on Uruguay's digital transformation journey. And we, after the end of all the discussions, we are going to be having a short time. There are 2 other presentations. Then I'll introduce those speakers along the way, but we will have some time at the end, perhaps about 11:15 or so, to take your questions. But the chat feature is there, and if you have comments and questions along the way, we urge you, please place them there so that we can get to them at the right time. And sometimes it's good to, to type those comments and questions at that point in time, just in case you forget it at the end. So without further ado, it is my delight to welcome the first speaker. Now, the information on the speakers have been sent out to you. And so I won't get into all of the details of their very impressive profiles. But Mr. Muhammad Ali, no, I actually did a Google check to make sure I could pronounce his surname. So he let me know if I got it right. Zudaverdiev. Did I get it right, Muhammad Ali?
Kudaverdiev.
Okay.
Kudaverdiev.
Almost. And he's Director General for
Very good.
State Agency for Public Service and Social Innovations under the President of Azerbaijan. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'll hand over the floor to him to share on their country experiences. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Many thanks. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. I'm originally from Azerbaijan, representing Azerbaijan, but now I'm in the official visit in the Republic of Congo regarding with one of the project of Azerbaijan in the field of public administration, which I'll talk about a bit detailed in this today's meeting. So, prior to go to the this presentation, I would like to just highlight that it's for me, it's an absolute pleasure and an honor to be part of today's discussion. And taking this opportunity, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, my dear friends, and also the CARICAD, the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, for hosting this very good webinars, and also inviting me to speak about Azerbaijan's experience. Without further ado, I would like to share my presentation, if you don't mind. Here we go. I will talk today about Azerbaijan's perspective from Azerbaijan's, I mean, the example from the perspective of the innovation and also the public sector transformation. As you see from the name of the this, I mean, idiom, the public sector is a, I mean, transformation require a couple of things. First and foremost, I think the will of the government is must and very indeed very helpful to realize a transformation in all the parts, especially in the field of public administration. In Azerbaijan, we start the reform in the field of public administration, roughly said 12 years ago, based on the presidential decree. Azerbaijani government, created a full-fledged organization called State Agency for Public Service and Social Innovations under the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And the cover of the agency is now covered the public service, innovations, and social projects. And one of the very key project and successful project overall in the world of Azerbaijan is Asan service. We call it Hidmet in Azerbaijan. Name the set in Azerbaijan. In English, the translation is easy. The service. The name is, I mean, the main target of the establishment of such a public sector public service center in Azerbaijan is to simplify the public service delivery process in Azerbaijan overall, collecting the ministries in one place, and also to achieve the high rate of the citizen satisfaction. This is the stance of the government policy of Azerbaijan. The citizen satisfaction is indeed very important. So in 2012, as I mentioned, the Asan service, the public service centers, has been established as part of the reforms in the field of public administration, which was initiated by the President of Azerbaijan. Now, these centers, I mean, propose or suggest 400 public and private services altogether, simply said, from birth certificate until death certificate. You can get any kind of public services through using these public service centers in Azerbaijan. And also, I will talk about the international collaboration in coming slides. This model embodies the good sample of the PPP, the public service buildings, and also we propose, we deliver the private services, like a name said, like tourism services, any kind of legal assistance services, banking services, and so on and so forth. So from this perspective, also the private companies are really, I mean, requesting to come and to deliver their services in our one-stop shop buildings. These are some pictures, external and internal views. Currently in Azerbaijan, we have 27 Asan service centers, and we received so far 72 million application until today. So Azerbaijan's population is about 10 million. So it means that the minimum the citizens of Azerbaijan apply to these centers 6-7 times in their lifelong periods. Besides the static buildings, we have also the mobile services, which is now applying in many countries based on Azerbaijani practice. We have 10 buses. They are visiting the regions where the physical one-stop shop Asan centers has not been established yet. they are delivering the same services upon the address of the citizens. These buses are well equipped with the advanced technologies. And we have also the one train, they also deliver the same services. Until now, the citizen satisfaction rate stands over the 99%, and we have different sources to receive the feedback of the citizens, because this is very, very important to receive the citizens of the feedback of the citizens. We have call center, we have the social media channels, we have website, we have huge volunteer group, which the statistic stands over the around 40,000 volunteers. They are helping our citizens to filling the application forms, receiving their complaints, proposals, if any, or just also as ASAN is an innovative project, we are applying the many digital applications in our process. On the first side, on the the front desk perspective, this is like a one-stop shop, and citizens need to come as physical buildings. But on the back side, all process, all the services are integrated with each other smoothly, and all process, all service delivery process have been duly simplified, and as I mentioned, integrated with each other. So no need, to send an emails or just a paper, some kind of, the exchange between the government entities. We totally digitize on the backside in the in ASAN centers all this process. Also, we developed the MyGov application for citizens a couple of years ago. This is My Government. The citizens can also just handle their notary issues or any kind of the reference notes or just any kind of payments through using this application. Now we handed over this, the application to our Minister of Digital Transport. We also developed the Register of Public Services. All public services and the info about public services, we have the one special website, all info, the necessary documents, all you need, all the citizens need about the public services, we have a one central registry. And also we are assessing the all public service agencies and its services. As a state agency in Azerbaijan, we created ASAN assessment index based on this looks like a Michelin standards. 5-star. We are giving the ministries or agencies its services, and we are evaluating based on these stars. Also, ASAN service is the owner of a visa in Azerbaijan. We developed a very fast visa over all the world. So you can get the very simply the visa to Azerbaijan only in 3 hours. It's possible. 95 countries are eligible to get the visa to Azerbaijan through using the ASAN visa application. No need to go to the consulates or embassies. This is also our own innovative product. Either 3 days or in 3 hours, you can get the visa to Azerbaijan by just only uploading your passport scan version and the ticket, and also maybe the one additional document. That will be enough. We have also developed the ASAN appeal information system. This is an application. So there's a kind of infrastructure problems in each of the country, and sometimes, for the citizens, it's very difficult to deliver this message to the right agencies, because citizens cannot be aware about all the functions of each and every entity. So we created as ASAN such an application. Citizens just take a photo, upload the photo to the application, and then the system itself define which entity in charge of this kind of the infrastructure problems. This picture is one of the sample that I want to share with you before and after. So, and coming to the next, we are also the next direction of our agency is innovation. We on our own portfolio, we have Innoland Incubation and Acceleration Center, where we support the startups and also giving them like incubation and acceleration programs, and they are involved to the special organized training programs in our Innoland Incubation and Acceleration Center. So far, we received around 8 million Azerbaijani manat, equal to the $5 million to our startups, and 4 of them have already exited to this project. And we're also actively participating with many international organizations and also the country to country. So we signed so far more than 20 memoranda with countries and international organizations, and our ASAN model now currently applying in different countries, namely said the Uganda, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and also Indonesia already finalized this process. And we are also working in this regard with government of Tajikistan and the Montenegro, Morocco, Ethiopia, and now Congo. These are the countries. And we are also open to the cooperation with the Caribbean countries for sure, and but not also for the Caribbean, also the Latin American countries. We are ready to share our good practice and ready to learn the good practice of the respective countries. Asan is the holder of the UN Public Service Award, which is the as a first place winner. And this is Asan is the first ever and only the owner of this award in the Eastern region, not Eastern, but in our region, in the category of the improvement of public service delivery. This is the highest recognition of excellence in the field of public service delivery, which is handed over by UN to Azerbaijan Asan Service Project. And following to that, in 2019, we received the award for promoting digital public service delivery, and we hosted the world famous UN Public Service Forum in Azerbaijan 5 years ago. And so together with the also UCLG Africa, we created a special award in the field of the local regional effectiveness of the public service, and we also awarded with the very first place winners 2 years ago in Azerbaijan. And also Asan is the the holder of the title of the best government service in the world, and this title has been given to us, presented to us last year within the World Government Summit. And this is also the very good recognition of excellence. And also the next successful award is the best startup output in the Caucasus, which is presented by Startup Link, a startup ecosystem to our innovation. From the perspective of the provision of human rights and all to reach the SDG, Asan also played a key role in Azerbaijan. Asan plays also advancing role to achieve the SDG number 9, SDG number 16, SDG number 17, and also SDG number 5. From the gender perspective, from the realizing of the innovation and the human rights, and also the collaboration and sharing the good practices. And in 2018 and 2023, United Nations Human Rights Council adopted the resolution on promoting human rights and SDGs through transparent, accountable, and efficient public service delivery based on the initiative of Azerbaijan and also on the sample of Asan service. We're also organizing the trainings for our counterparts. Many countries came to Azerbaijan and had a visit. So also taking this opportunity from your channel, I also invite the participants of this meeting to share their the contact points, and if they have an interest in, we can organize a bilateral meeting with their governments, and are ready to meet with them and to share the good practice of Azerbaijan, and they would be honored and privileged to exchange of our good practices in Caribbean and also the Latin American countries around the world. Many thanks for your attention, and also would love to respond any kind of questions if you have.
Thank you so much. No, I think I concur with Rodney. Rodney in the chat said, very impressive, and congratulations on the award at last year's Government Summit. And thanks so much for sharing your experiences. We are going to go on to the next presentation, and that will be from Dr. Germaine Joël Jean-Pierre. She is currently project manager in the for the World Bank funded Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. She is an esteemed alumni of our Leadership Development Program, and she's going to be sharing the perspective from this project in the process of digital transformation happening in the Eastern Caribbean. And so, Germaine Joël Jean-Pierre, over to you.
Good morning, Dr. Pax, and good morning to everyone on this webinar. It is indeed a pleasure to share with you this morning on the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. So I am going to stop my video so that I can get maximum bandwidth, and you will hear me so that you can also hear me better. So the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, as Dr. Park said, it's a World Bank funded project, and it's currently being implemented in 4 islands: St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, St. Lucia, of course, Dominica. And there are regional components that are being managed by the OECS. And this project, I hope you're seeing my screen. And this
we are seeing, but perhaps you could go into full screen.
Oh, we're not in full screen.
That's fine.
Okay,
Go
you're
ahead.
seeing it now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. And this project, it's comprised of 3 components. And really what it's seeking to do is to look at all of the key bottlenecks, look at everything that is preventing us from having a successful digital economy, looking at how we can create jobs, looking at how we can improve service delivery, and really using this project as a driver of economic growth. And we also want to ensure that we have skilled individuals who are able to participate in the digital marketplace and society. We want to ensure that every individual can interact, transact online, as well as especially our small to medium-sized business, that they have the power, that they have the ability to offer digital services, as well as to allow individuals to pay for those services online. So as I said, the project has 3 components, and component 1 really is about the digital enabling environment. And what we're seeking to do is to create the enabling environment that will, within the digital economy or for the digital economy, that will drive competition, investment, and innovation while promoting trust and security of online transactions. And some of the activities that we are doing on the component 1 is cybersecurity. We're looking at data protection and privacy. We're looking at the legal and regulatory environment, as well as the capacity, building capacity within the digital environment. And so within the 4 islands that are participating in this project, we are all establishing CERTs, computer response emergency teams. To date, the OECS would have engaged a consultant, as well as working with CARICAD Impasse to begin this activity. Actually, there'll be a workshop in St. Lucia next week on that. And the end result is, like I said, the 4 islands would have a CERT to be able to provide, support to individuals, be able to look at threat intelligence. If a company, an individual, a business felt that they would have been compromised, the CERT would be in a position to assist. So they can escalate that incident to the CERT, who would be able to assist. We have all looked at our legislation, and we would have all engaged a legal firm who would have reviewed every single piece of legislation that speaks to electronic government or digital government. They have reviewed where necessary, and they have drafted as needed. So in the case of Dominica, for instance, we would not have had any electronic or bill that speaks to electronic health or digital health. So they would have drafted the legislation that supports our health management information system that we're going to be implementing. We're at the stage now where those legislation, well, the draft bills, I should say, will go to Parliament for enactment soon. And I spoke about data privacy and protection. Of course, we know online the major thing buzzword is protection, security. And so we are also looking at the legislation that speaks to this. One of the things that the project is seeking to do is to harmonize a lot of these legislation. And so the islands that are participating, we're all working together in ensuring that it's one fit for us, and hopefully other Caribbean islands will adopt those legislations once they have been passed. So data protection and privacy is one of them. We're also regionally coordinating capacity building and cyber professionals, again, because we're trying to harmonize, and we want to deal with cybersecurity, not just as an individual or country. It's a mammoth undertaking, and if we can do it as, you know, a region, then of course we pull resources where necessary. So Dominica may have somebody who is extremely good, you know, at analyzing threats or looking at incident reports, and we could share that person or our resources that we have with St. Lucia, for example, who is part of this project, and any other island that comes on board. And so again, we're trying to do this, you know, as much as we can. We're sticking to the regional approach for most of the activities under this project. Then the next component that we're looking at is government infrastructure platforms and services. That's component 2. And what we're seeking to do is to literally put the public sector online, all of the services. We're trying to modernize the public sector. We're looking at the delivery of digital services. We're looking at building resiliency in what we do within the public sector. So from our experience of natural disasters, we know that we can no longer store our data just on premise. We have to look at cloud storage and any other platform that we can use, that we can leverage to ensure that we're building resiliency, that we're able to deliver digital services, you know, right after a disaster, and in some cases, you know, during the disaster as well. And so we started building out a digital strategy. So we do have in Dominica, we do have a digital transformation strategy that sort of guides where we are going, what we're doing. We have taken a sectoral approach to that strategy, and we have since been meeting with some of the sectors to sort of drill down into the strategy, so that we can build out you know, their plan, their own individual digital plan. So for instance, health, agriculture our larger sectors, we have started drilling down into creating that roadmap for them. And as I said, we have worked on our legislation. We're also doing our digital signature. So Dominica have since signed a contract that will ensure that we have our digital signature framework in place. We have also, well, the bid for digital identification that is out. We're expecting responses on April 3rd, and the other islands participating in this project, they're following suit as well. We're moving to our electronic document management, authentication system. So all of this is coming on board. We have signed the contract and we are hoping to begin implementation in April. And as I said, the other islands participating in this project, they're also following in our footsteps as well. And we have started building capacity. So within the country itself, we have been doing digital training. Again, it's one thing to tell people to go online, but it's another thing for them not to have the ability to do so. And so to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our citizens, we are equipping them with the skills for them to be able to function digitally. We have been building out innovation hubs. We have done 16 of them so far, and we have been offering digital literacy training. And then for our IT professionals, we're looking at how to get them certified. So we have a lot of IT professionals in the region, but they don't necessarily have the paper to support the skills that they have. And so we have been offering right across the 4 islands that are participating in this project. We have been offering certificate courses where they can do either at an advanced level or at a basic level. Change management, it's a major component for us. Well, a major activity really for us because, even looking at the theme of this webinar, changing mindset. And when it comes to technology, we know this is the hardest thing to do to get people from move away from, their comfort of their paper into using the technology. And so from the start of this project, we brought on a change management expert, and we have created change management agents. So we have change management leads and we have change management agents within the public sector that sort of, who will be assisting us in ensuring that no one is left behind. So if an individual has an issue and an individual doesn't feel comfortable using the technology, we have the change management who we have been constantly, the change management agents who we are constantly training to assist in this regard. And it's also built in some of the activities that we're doing, that the vendor is required to ensure that they have taken on board somebody who will actually do change management or assist in the change management of that particular activity. So again, some of the other activities that we're doing under this project regionally. So we look at business process reengineering, end-to-end digitization of some of our common services. So for instance, the issuance of birth, death, and marriage certificate. If we speak about birth certificate, in the region, to get a passport, it requires you to go to the registry and get a birth certificate. So what we are now doing is ensuring that we have that digitalization in that the passport office doesn't necessarily need to send an individual to get a birth certificate, but they have access to the system to actually verify the information for themselves. And again, this starts with our unique identifier. Every citizen will have an identifier. It may sound trivial for the region, but we know that, in some areas we're a tad bit tardy, and we're trying to, to catch up with our more developed countries. And so that identifier will be used to be the barrier between all of our common services that we're offering. Other common services for the region, we're doing the online web and mobile portal for accessing government services and information. So using your unique identifier, you will be able to access all services online, all the information, whatever information you need, you'll be able to access it online in one portal. So you do not have to go to several websites or several web portals. You'll be able to come online, submit an application, pay for it, get your services, everything. We're looking at our travel facilitation, so tourism, immigration, key sectors. So just to say, for this project, what we would have done originally is to look at some of our sectors and our key services and see how we can digitize as much of it as possible. So we would have looked at health, we looked at tourism, the financial sector, and see what we can do. Then, so health, for instance, we are all doing a health management and information system. We know what it is like going to some of our health facilities, and they are, trying to find our people or records, and that, of course, delays care. That, of course, delays the attention that they need to be given to us. So for within the region, we're ensuring that we all have a proper health management and information system. And then we have our cash transfer programs. Many of us do. We're individuals, we support, our less fortunate, our challenged individuals, and you find that they have to come in or they have to find somebody to come into an office to get that funding for them. And so we're now creating bulk disbursements where it's almost like you give them a card, and they can now use you at the end of the month. We put the funds on there for them, and then they can use their card at their convenience, whether it's to go to the ATM, whether it's to shop, whatever they want to do it for. But the point is, they no longer have to come to an office and stand in a line to receive that support. And then the third component is digital skills and technology adoption. And as I said before, we want to ensure that we provide the necessary skills. We want to ensure that everybody has the skills needed to go online. And so we are providing at no cost to the citizens the training, the training that is needed, the technology adoption. We are ensuring that our managers, they too are trained and can function and can manage their business online. Some of the things that we're doing under there is that we're providing grant funding for individuals who wish to digitize their business or wish to start a business if they so desire within the digital environment. And we're also providing internship opportunity for our participants who would have participated in the digital skills training program. We have done, so there are times when individuals may want to do a presentation, or they want to pitch an idea, or they want to, have a training session and they don't have the location. So we have built out a co-working space. Again, this is regional for those individuals who would not have an opportunity or don't have the facility to do something digital that they wish to do. Then we have provided the digital devices for individuals as well as for students who would have needed it. So the project is really, again, sort of bridging the gap for individuals, government, small to medium-sized business owners who wish to be part of the digital environment, and it's supporting them in that venture because again, all the islands who are participating in this project, they want a vibrant digital economy, and so the project is really the bridge towards that. Thank you very much for your time, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I
Thank you.
look forward to your questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Jean-Pierre. Now, in the chat, there are a couple of questions directed at you, or when directed at you, someone sort of, like they're attacking you. No, they have questions. So I'm going to invite you to have a look in the chat, Joel, and you could respond. There's one just asking about information about, people who want more information about getting onto those courses to get certified. And there's another more in-depth question from Mr. Emerson Bryan about other sectors that have been modified to support the digitalization, and some other questions associated. So if you could, provide those responses in the chat in the meantime.
Sure, no problem.
All right, great. And so we'll just go to the next presenter, who is Mr. Dale Alexander. He'll be talking about harnessing the potential of AI to create public value in the Caribbean. He is Chief of the Caribbean Knowledge Management Center, ECLAC, Sub-Regional Headquarters for the Caribbean. So, Dale, you are up at the wicket. For those who don't know, that's a cricket reference.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm just trying to get the camera up. 1 second, there we go. Yes, I believe I'm being seen now. Yes. So good morning, everyone. And on behalf of my Executive Secretary, Mr. Jose Manuel Salazar Surinach, and my Director, Diane Qualis, ECLAC is really pleased to be part of this experience here, these past 4 webinar experiences, and certainly the opportunity we have today to make a presentation today. I want to thank our colleagues at the Department of Economic and Social Affairs and the Caribbean Center for Development Administration. I'm going to get straight into this as we go, and today I'm going to be talking about harnessing the potential for AI to create public value in the Caribbean. And I'm sure as public administrators, we're familiar with the term, but just in case, let's just touch on this a little bit. So what we know and are clear about is that AI is certainly changing the way government functions. At its core, AI can process large amounts of data in relatively short periods of time. It introduces new possible uses for technology and provides additional pathways for leveraging these benefits, including the opportunity to now look and generate new insights from the analysis of these large data sets. AI ultimately has the potential to transform every sector that generates or is reliant on large amounts of data, including the public sector, which is one of the larger. Governments across the world are seeking ways to benefit from the analytical capabilities of AI systems and to further the goals of increased efficiency, reduced cost, and improved quality of service to citizens here. And I've noted that the expression, the citizen, has come up quite often in our deliberation thus far today. We looked late last year, we ran across a study from the Oxford Insights, where they looked at the AI readiness of governments around the world. And at ECLAC here, we have a subset of the Caribbean that we characterize as the Caribbean Development and Cooperation Committee, and there are 16 member states there. And it was interesting for us to discover that of these 16 countries, only the Dominican Republic is above the world average ranking, as ranked, of course, by the Oxford Insights. Bahamas is just above the Latin American and Caribbean average, and Jamaica is just below that average. Everybody else is notably below even the Latin American average. Now, why is the Dominican Republic, what accounts for the Dominican Republic being able to achieve this ranking? Well, there are at least 4 things. First of all, they have a national AI strategy. Secondly, that strategy is supported by an appropriate legislative framework. There's digital capacity within the government, and there's the government adaptability. Let's shift gears now to the issue of public value. Now, public value is a fundamental principle in governance. It's about creating value for the common good, taking into consideration what the citizen sees as valuable and the value an organization brings to the public sphere. It is citizen-centric. Public administrators are strategically seeking to create public value through democratic and collaborative governance and citizenship to deliver quality public services. Creating public value requires clarity about the strategic goals being pursued, legitimacy from a coalition of stakeholders, and operational capacity to implement effectively. And just to comment on this goes back to the previous comment about ensuring that there is appropriate human capital to support any kind of technology. So under the paradigm of public value, when governments are considering deploying AI-enabled services, it is important that the needs of citizens are seen as the primary beneficiaries of these public services, and that remains paramount in all deliberations. There was a term called the new public management paradigm. The thing is, it's called the new, but it's certainly not the new in 2024. And that paradigm or model emphasized inputs and outputs. So it, as you see there in the figure, it dealt with what were the inputs, the means, how did we process it, what are the activities and processes, and what were the outputs. And that was the way in which public administration is seen. Today, within the context of public value, if I could call it, I'll use value twice. So the public value chain is now extended to move into the realm of outcomes rather than mere outputs. So we talk now about the effects and trust and legitimacy. And as with any technology, today we're speaking about, in this presentation, I'm speaking to the issue of AI. It should not be just about or be implemented with the objective of optimizing performance, effectiveness, and efficiency gains. Rather, it is essential and imperative to consider the effects on the citizen and their well-being. The United Nations Broadband Commission, the ITU, and UNESCO in 2022 prepared the Artificial Intelligence and Digital Transformation Report, and speaking specifically to competencies for civil servants. And I just want to highlight the following. One, that every public servant must have some form of AI-related competency. That's what they call it for. And that competency should allow for, one, the development and use of AI systems, finding new ways of working with artificial intelligence, changing traditional work procedures, and imagining new solutions to old challenges. Artificial intelligence systems must be integrated in a structural manner while aiming at changing mindsets. They further articulated 3 competency domains and 5 complementary attitudes. In terms of the competency domains, the digital planning and design domain, within that context, civil servants are enabled to understand the complexity of today's problems, anticipate unexpected events, and recognize strategic opportunities to use digital solutions and develop strategies and visions. Under the second domain, data use and governance, civil servants are able to understand the fundamental role and value of data, the inherent risks associated with data, the use, analysis, and the sharing of data, taking into consideration ethical, privacy, and security concerns. And in the final domain, digital management and execution, civil servants are enabled to understand innovative project management and collaboration practices, as well to use data and technology to address complex problems and foster new modalities for civic participation in digital transformation and digital governance. The 5 attitudes are trust, creativity, adaptability, curiosity, and experimentation. And our webinar last week, I think it was Christina who spoke about this issue of experimentation and curiosity in her presentation. So again, this is what is required from civil servants to really advance and harness the potential of artificial intelligence. Now we have this model that presents the ways in which public value intersects various aspects of the public sector. If we look at the upper sphere, the managerial model, we're talking there about economic and administrative dimensions. That's where public administrators emphasize the economic and administrative logistics of optimization to achieve efficiency and productivity gains. On the lower sphere, where we are speaking there about democratic and citizen dimensions, the emphasis is on ensuring that public services are delivered to address the needs of citizens, including the need for ethical and transparent responsiveness and accountability. Within this framework, it remains that the adoption of AI within the public sector, with its transformative qualities, should continue to advance public value creation. Now, one of the things what then do we do with this? Okay, so it's great to know that there's this model and that we can look at it. Well, it's important to go one step further to really affect or to achieve public value creation. It's really important that administrators conduct a public value mapping of artificial intelligence to look at the benefits, or to identify the benefits, potential benefits, threats, and risks associated with adopting artificial intelligence. And I will just briefly, literally just call some terms for the lower sphere of what could be some of the expected results of such an indicative mapping. For instance, looking at the democratic dimension, an important benefit that is likely to accrue is citizen interaction. So the fact that we could have things like chatbots and other artificial intelligence-driven facilities that help to improve the interaction with the citizens. There are some threats. We could have issues of accountability. issues with cooperation, whether we are going to, should we ensure that all of the public sector is really pursuing a homogeneous approach to artificial intelligence, which speaks to the presence or absence of a national AI strategy to ensure that citizens are not confused and having to learn different systems. There are risks as well of transparency. The issue of unexplainable AI, these black boxes, you put data in and you have no idea about what was the methodology used to come out with the outcomes on the other side. Trust, and it could also impact democracy, the issue of deep fakes. On the citizen dimension, some benefit there would be service quality, the ability to analyze large amounts of data beyond what is humanly possible within a short period of time. Personalization, the ability, excuse me, of AI to personalize the interaction with citizens, based, so you end up with a familiar face, as it were. Accessibility anytime and anywhere. What are some threats? Well, service quality is also a potential threat. Supplemental data might be used to analyze the data, but this could raise questions of quality assurance and ownership. Some risks could be data quality, whether it's accurate, loss of jobs, and I'm not just speaking about menial tasks. What about paraprofessionals whose function could be described as routine and repetitive analysis? Those may be taken over by artificial intelligence. But again, an indicative, this kind of public value mapping is important to understand what is before us within the public sector. So what are some key recommendations that we would want to advance? First of all, well, there are several, but I'll just speak to three. Develop national artificial intelligence strategies. It's important that we have the requisite policy framework, and I would go further and say legislative framework to support the advance of artificial intelligence, and do it from the outset rather than it be a response to something that has already arrived. So be more deliberate and intentional. Secondly, assess the artificial intelligence adoption effectiveness within the public sector. And to continue on the point that was made just now by Joel, I think it was, develop national AI capability to ensure the requisite human resources to drive all aspects of AI adoption within the public sector. As I come to the end, I want to just speak briefly about what ECLAC has been doing, what we have, well, where we are in this space. So over the past 3 years, we've been engaged in a multi-year research on digital inclusion and digital public goods. Since October of last year, a core component of our research focus has been on artificial intelligence. We published in October last year the focus article on artificial intelligence for Caribbean sustainable development, and you're invited to come to our website to view that and our other research. And right now, we are currently engaged in a study on Caribbean artificial intelligence readiness. And the aim of this study is to understand the state of knowledge and AI readiness in the sub-region and to further advance digital government efforts. Now, to complement this study, we are also conducting a public sector readiness survey. And we are administering this survey to all policymakers and decision makers in the public sector to understand the level of AI awareness and readiness, and to solicit your insights and recommendations for responsible AI adoption. We are seeking multiple and encourage and welcome multiple in-country perspectives on this topic. So you have the link there, you have the QR code, and I know we have a number of public administrators here. We have a number of policymakers and decision makers in our midst. So I encourage you to, first of all, freely respond individually and to share the link or QR code of this survey to other policymakers and decision makers within your various ministries and public sector agencies of your government. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your time and attention, and I'm also available to answer any questions you may have. A good day to all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dale. And Dale, there is a question in the chat that was directed asking about whether ECLAC has data on Dutch overseas territories. So you could just check for that question in the chat, and you can provide some responses there.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. So we're going to just go right to the next presenter. And the next presenter is going to be sharing country experiences from Uruguay. He's Senor Herbert Paguas. He's Executive Secretary, Agency for the Development of Electronic Government and Information Society and Knowledge. And so it's my delight to hand over the reins to him. You can proceed. Yes, we're seeing you, so you can unmute and share your screen. If you go to full screen now.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Lois.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you, UN DESA,
Good.
the invitation to be part of this important session and to hear about what the region is doing and what other organizations is doing. Today, I'm going to present how about Uruguay is doing in South America. So let's begin. Are you seeing correctly the presentation?
We are, but you could go to full screen. Yes, there you go. Great.
Okay. And well, this is about digital transformation in Uruguay. So just this is our country in South America. It's a little one in South America between Argentina and Brazil. We are 3.4 million people. We have 1,075 square kilometers. Our capital is Montevideo, and our language is Spanish. We speak Spanish. The Agency for E-Government and the Information and Knowledge Society is it's a unit under the presidency of the Republic of Uruguay. So we have a cross view of the executive power in our country, and it was created by the Article 72 of this law that I'm sharing with you. The lead of the strategy of digital, what is the objective of our agency? To lead the strategy of digital government and the implementation in our country, creating the necessity of regulatory framework, institutional infrastructure, and technological infrastructure based on innovation, efficient and citizen-centered state. To drive the information and knowledge society in the country, promoting inclusion and equity in the use of information and communication technologies of all of ICTs. This is our structure. We have an executive directorate and honorary board of directors in the e-government agency. We have 3 decentralized units: the public information access, the regulatory and control unit of personal data, the electronic certificating unit, and we have 6 substantive areas: strategic planning, information society, digital services, information security, information technology, and IT operations, and digital health. And we have also 5 advisory councils: information society, public sector, enterprises, georeferencing systems, and cybersecurity. We have a lot of international participation. We are part of Digital Nation. This is the group of the 10 countries with the highest digital development in the world. We are part of the steering committee of the Red GEALC. This is the e-government network of Latin America and the Caribbean. We are part of OGP, about our Open Government Partnership. We are part of GFCE, is a global forum of cyber expertise. We are part of LAC4, members and have for the Southern Latam First Forum of Incident Response and Security Teams. We are part of CICTE, Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism. We have the presidency of the Digital Agenda for Latin America and Caribbean till 2024. We are members of GAD. This is a Mercosur Digital Agenda. We are part of RIPD, GPA. We have the 108 plus standard in our country. We are one of the 2 countries in Latin America and Caribbean that has the 108 plus standard. We are part of RTA, ICIC, and OECD Digital Policy Committee. Just for give another example of how evolved we are, we have the 91% of households with internet access, the 90% of individuals aged 13 and older with internet access, 83% of individuals access internet daily, and 7% territorial digital divide, 9% in 2019. And this is our evolution of digital policy in Uruguay. You can see we have 4 different steps in our stair. I mean, the first was between 2006 and 2010 with the very beginning of our agency. And we also have our first digital agenda and the institutionalization of the e-government policy in our country. Then between 2011 and 2015, the digitization and the third digital agenda of our country. Then between 2016 and 2020, Uruguay Digital Agenda number 4, with the expansion of digital transformation in our country. And now we are between 2020 and 2025 in the transformation of the digital government of our country with the 5th Uruguay Digital Agenda. So at the very beginning, we had to create some laws to allow us to build the digital government of our country. So I mean, the best laws of our country about digital transformation are, I think, 3. Personal data protection. We have a very robust law of digital data protection in our country. Access to public information, because we are one of the best in transparency all over the world, and the electronic identity and signature. And we create 2 interoperability platforms. One is the called REDUI, is about digital, public offices, and the other one is digital about the health of the record health in our country. And we were the first country in the world to give 1 laptop per child in primary education. It calls Plan Ceibal, and it's about digital transformation in education. And we started to broadband in households, 15 years ago or 20 years ago. In the digitization step, we advanced in electronic signature, identity, and documents. So we started to work about document management administration with digital files, digital notifications. In procedures, we started to work in digitization of high volume procedures. We evolved the Plan Ceibal about 1 laptop per child to secondary education. And we started with the traceability of the 100% of our cattle. We have 12 million cattle in our country, and all the cattle has traceability with electronic chip. In the expansion, we identified that we have to evolve our digital health history, and nowadays we have 100% of the population with digitally health records online. Well, online now, I mean a private network called Red Salud. We have 100% of procedures, of public procedures online. We created the plan Ibirapitá with one computer per retiree or pensioner, and we create spatial data with 100% of territory with images with precision of 32 centimeters and 10 centimeters. We have an office called IDE, is a space infrastructure that has all the satellites images in our country. This is the solutions that we have. So you can see our website calls gov.uy. Then we have the sites and the app of the government, the digital service platform, business center, document management platform, financial procurement management platform, interoperability platform, and the RedWe that I told you with the interoperability network of the public offices, because we are the owners of the interoperability in our country. So we look forward to improve day after day the interoperability systems to facilitate the relation between citizens and the government. And we have 3 strategic plans. Nowadays, we have 3 of them. We have the Uruguay Digital Agenda 2025, because it's our government changed by 5 years. So this year we have elections, but we have the Digital Agenda 2025 with major initiatives for the development of the information and knowledge society in Uruguay. Then we have the Digital Government Plan, that is a key lines of work driven by our agency for the digital transformation of the Uruguay state. And we have the Open Government Plan. We have now dealing with a 5 plan of open government in our country. And this is about the priority commitments in transparency, accountability, open data, and citizen participation. And what we are doing today, okay, the priorities and challenges by 2025 are simpler and more agile services, digital inclusion and integration, security and trust for digital transformation, proactive management and public innovation, government as a platform for public and private sectors. The idea is to open our services, our public services, to the private sector, to include private sector in public solutions. What we learned, or what we think that we learned about all of these 20 or 25 years in digital transformations, is that countries need sustained digital policy, like a state policy. In our country, we have 4 different parties in the government, and the digital policy still growing up. Infrastructure expansion, because we need to achieve it citizens all over our country. Enabling regulatory framework to allows us to create new solutions or new services for the citizens. Public-private collaboration, because we are, for example, we are the 3rd country in the world, I think, in software exportations per capita. So for us, public-private collaboration, it's very important. Digital inclusion, digital education, because of the digital citizenship. We need to build capacities to our people. Of course, digital security and data protection, and nowadays in the discussion with AI solutions and cybersecurity issues, it's very, very important for us, and I mean it's very important for all over the world, and promotion of technological innovation. I will be in the room for further questions. So thank you, Lois. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you too. And you will see in the chat the link to the digital agenda for Uruguay. And that link will take you not just to the agenda, but the agenda in English. All right. So that has been shared. So please access that additional resource. And I will go very quickly to introduce our final presenter. She's Miss Anya Thomas. She is the Economic Affairs Officer at the Small Island Development States Unit under UN DESA. And she's going to be sharing some key highlights from the 4th SIDS conference. So just allow me to, so Anya, the floor is yours. I am bringing up your presentation now.
Thank you, Lois, and good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good morning, I believe, everyone. And thank you for this opportunity to update everyone on the 4th SIDS conference, which is going to be taking place at the end of May in Antigua and Barbuda next. The gentleman on the screen is the Undersecretary General of DESA, Mr. Lee Jinhua. He is also the Secretary General of the 4th International Conference on SIDS. Next. So as I indicated, it's taking place at the end of May from the 27th through to the 30th in St. John's, Antigua at the American University. The theme for this conference is charting the course towards resilient prosperity. And as I take you through, you will see that much of the discussions in the dialogues and the outcome document, etc., are all geared towards delivering on this theme. I encourage everyone to have a look at the website, pay close attention to the website. All of the information that you need to facilitate participation is all available on our website. Next. Like any other UN conference of this nature, the outcome of it is going to be a negotiated document. It's intergovernmentally agreed. Antigua and Barbuda has been very clear throughout the entire process that they're looking for something that is focused, forward-looking, actionable, measurable, and with concrete deliverables. And this, of course, like its predecessor documents, which you should all be familiar with by now, the Barbados Program of Action, Samoa Pathway, etc., is going to be the next 10-year program of action that will guide interventions in SIDS. Next. Again, as with any international conference, there is a preparatory committee that has been established. It's co-chaired by New Zealand and Maldives. There are 2 preparatory committee meetings. The first was held back in January, in the week of the 22nd of January, and the second begins on Monday for the entire week. here in New York. And what will happen is that the draft outcome document will be considered, negotiations will continue, etc. Next. Again, as with any standard UN conference, there are opening and closing sessions. These are where the formalities of the conference will take place. There are plenary sessions where member states, UN system agencies, stakeholders, observers will all have an opportunity to provide statements. For these statements, however, you will need to be you will need to be appropriately registered and accredited to be able to inscribe to deliver these statements. And there will be interactive dialogues, 5 of them across the week, each of which will be 2 hours, covering various topics, all geared towards the theme of the conference. Next. In addition to the formal part, there are also going to be a series of special events held throughout the week. And just to give a flavor, the Secretary General is convening a high-level event on resource mobilization. There's a gender event. There's a youth summit prior to the conference. There is a civil society encounter, a private sector forum, and the list goes on. There will also be side events. Applications for that, though, are now closed. We were oversubscribed in side events and are now trying to see how all of this can fit into the available space. Unfortunately, though, there will no longer be exhibits at the conference, that a decision was taken by the host country not to allow exhibits on the venue. Next. Again, as with any UN conference, participation is open to all member states of the United Nations, also the associate members of the regional commission. So that will be like our Anguillas, our British Virgin Islands, Aruba, etc. Accredited intergovernmental organizations such as CARICOM Secretariat, CDB, etc. Specialized agencies of the UN, so that will be the UN system funds agencies and programs like UNDP, UN Women, etc. All intergovernmental organs of the UN, there is a list available online. Accredited, and I keep focusing on that word, NGOs, major groups, and other relevant stakeholders, etc. All of this information is available on the CIDS4 website, and I encourage you to pay close attention to it. Next. Who is allowed to do side events? Again, because it is very particular and you must be accredited. It is member states, intergovernmental organizations, UN entities, and accredited stakeholders only. Over the next couple of days, if there are persons in the audience who have submitted to do side events, the side event team will be reaching out to you shortly, either to approve your side event or to let you know that there's a problem with your registration or accreditation, and there will be time given for that to be rectified before we go forward. Again, as I indicated, the deadline for side events has passed. We got an overwhelming interest in spots, and there will be, I think there will be more than enough of the side events to keep delegations well occupied outside of the formal parts of the conference. Next. Now, these interactive dialogues that I had mentioned earlier, there are 5 of them of 2 hours each. The themes of each of these dialogues are on the screen in front of you, and again, as I said, all tackling various aspects of the priorities outlined by CIDS in the draft outcome document. The interactive dialogues are an opportunity, again, for member states to speak. We are looking, though, in these for bold commitments that will move the needle forward towards achieving the stated priorities and goals within the outcome, the new program of action for CIDS. Next. So the outcome document, the last version that's available online is of the 8th of March. There has been additional negotiations on the document. In fact, negotiations are actually happening again today on the text. So the version that you will see online is already dated. Some of the paragraphs have already been agreed. And as soon as we get clearance from the co-chairs, we will post the most recent version of the outcome document online. But it is divided into the sections that you see on the screen in front of you. As of today, about a third of the document is agreed. 1/3 is seriously problematic. And the other third, it's low-hanging fruit, but will require some work on the language in order to bring delegations to consensus on the text. This particular outcome document, incidentally, has a very large focus on the digital economy, on e-government, strengthening institutions, data, and issues related to strengthening of national statistical systems, etc. SIDS has seen that as a key pillar for being able to move forward if they are to really achieve resilient prosperity. On the screen in front of you, the broad areas in which SIDS have indicated what they're basically aspiring to do. So the actions under each of these, if you take a look at the document, you will see what the calls are to the international community and what SIDS are committing to do. One thing you will notice about this document from its predecessor is it's much tighter. There are fewer priorities, and hopefully, depending on what comes out of the language, much of it is going to be implementable and measurable, as is the desire of the host. Next. All right, a few key messages for you coming out of the discussions thus far. And these, again, as you see on the screen, really cut to the heart of the core priorities embodied in the outcome document. And the biggest issue for SIDS is the need to increase access to concessional finance through a variety of means. But one of them is the establishment of a debt sustainability support service, which can really assist SIDS to address their debt challenges going forward. Of course, climate change and scaling up climate finance to address the concerns of SIDS, with respect to adaptation and mitigation, is a key thing. Of course, this will be in line with the Paris Agreement, because this is a very, very touchy issue within the United Nations. The government of Antigua and Barbuda has established a center of excellence. This center is going to focus on 3 sort of broad prongs. One is strengthening data, the other is mobilizing investment in SIDS, and the third is technology, science and technology and transfer. But there so far it appears that there's more of a leaning to AI-based type of interventions and approaches through this Center of Excellence. It is still a work in progress, but as Antigua and Barbuda do the work to further flesh out with support from the UN system, more information will become available in the coming weeks. And finally, of course, the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index. This is a long-standing issue within the United Nations. We're talking about 30 years of advocacy, and there is now a tool which is about to enter into an intergovernmental process to move it to the next step. So this is something that is going to be looked at very closely as we move forward. Next. I just mentioned the Center of Excellence. And the other sort of deliverable of interest that we're seeing within the outcome document is the call for a clearly identifiable SIDS-specific entity to coordinate capacity development support to SIDS. And this is an attempt to sort of ensure that all of the UN system funds, agencies, and programs that are working within SIDS and are perhaps not coordinating as well or at all, as the case may be, this is an attempt to sort of rein that in And so SIDS can really begin to see value for money with regard to UN system work in SIDS when it comes to capacity development. Next. I mentioned earlier in the presentation the special events. I've put them here on the screen for you and their dates. We encourage member states to participate in all of them. If your principals or your heads of state, heads of delegation are coming, we encourage full participation in all of these events. Next. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. Thank you to all of the presenters. We have gotten a full course meal here, and we want to just take 2 quick polls. Trudy, you can let me know if you're ready to launch the poll. There is the first poll, and we want to find out in terms of implementing integrated public service delivery, which of the two do you consider to be a challenge in your country? And we invite you to choose 2 options. We're just going to do this for 30 seconds, and then we launch the next poll. And while we wait for persons to complete the poll, there is a question about Uruguay and also Azerbaijan about what was done to actually help to build the capacity of the civil services in your respective countries in order for them to embrace all of these digital transformation initiatives. So let me share the results here. Okay, so you see too much fragmentation in public service delivery as being a challenge. 57% of it shows that. And that's followed by lack of citizens' awareness of public service delivered and incoherent and outdated regulatory policies, followed by corruption, followed by lack of accountability, and weak social inclusion. All right, we're going to launch the next poll, and we invite you to choose one to support peer-to-peer learning to promote public sector transformation. What kind of commitment are you willing to take? Because this is really about what are we going to do with all of this information that we have been provided with. So there is that poll. We have another 19 seconds or so. All right, going to end the poll now and share the results. And you should be seeing, so most of you chose all of the above. All of the above. And that would include, I will work on changing my mindset. I will commit to share what I've learned in these webinars. I'm eager to take further training. And I will support my colleagues' changing mindsets journey. All right, and so if you want to access the other recordings, please do visit our YouTube channel, Caribbean Center for Development Administration. So we are really out of time, but I would allow for questions. I'm going to invite let me just make sure that the persons are still available to answer questions. So Mohammed Dali from Azerbaijan, if you could share a little bit about your country's strategy for capacity building among the civil servants to support the digital transformation journey.
For sure, Louis Parks. So since 2012, actually, we passed a long way in last 12 years. First of all, we organized the ministry and the agency, based training program through our individual consultants. And then we also develop a strategy for 5 years from 2018 to 2023, and then adopt a new strategy. And also involved to this process the local executive powers, the municipalities, because local governance is very important. Since Azerbaijan is a republic, but a unitary country, but the local governance is very important in order to involve the attention of the citizens in the municipalities or rural areas. And we work very closely with civil service, NGOs and non-governmental organizations, and also the TV channels, social media, and including the influencers. And we have the Asan radio. We have the special radio, very first radio in the world that's fully specialized in public service delivery. We invited the ministers, deputy ministers, senior government officials, in order to give the information to citizens, to public, to audience about up-to-date updates or any revisions in legal frameworks or any ongoing developments in the field of the digitization or any kind of public administration reforms in Azerbaijan. So that's the some ways we worked in Azerbaijan.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so, just in the interest of time, we are going to have to close out our presentation. I am seeing the comments in the chat, how useful and insightful you have found it. I'm going to invite Mr. Paguas. You are going to share a little bit about capacity building strategy from the Uruguay perspective, and then we will close out. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. We are in the fifth digital agenda, and all in our digital agendas we have specific programs about capacity building of public servants and the rest of the society. For example, school child and young people in the secondary, adult people, pensioners or retirees. So we have lots of years about experience of building capacity for the people. That is why we are one of the best in the world in the UN DESA ranking.
All right, fantastic. And people have been asking about whether they will get copies of the presentations. And yes, those that we have received, we will certainly be sharing with all our registrants, along with the link to the recording. So I really just want to thank you all so very much. We're going to post in the chat a link to the evaluation poll. There it is. And we believe that feedback is a gift. And you will also see throughout the chat, and we're going to be capturing those as well. There are lots of links to a lot of the resources that our presenters have shared, whether it's legislation or digital strategy or access to capacity building opportunities. And so our virtual producer will be copying those so that we can put them all together. And we just invite you to complete that final poll for us. And it is my delight to have been your facilitator for these 4 webinars. I want to give a special thanks to all of our presenters, Anya, Dale, Herbert, Mahabadali, and Joel. Thanks to UN DESA for our ongoing partnership and collaboration, and for all those who worked in the background to make this webinar series the success that it has been. And so continue to check our website, CARICAD.net, where you will see information about upcoming webinar and leadership development training and other services and opportunities. Adriana, I see your camera on, and I wonder if you wanted to say 1 or 2 last words.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. Just to say that the presentations today were fantastic. I think very insightful, you know, lots of food for thought, as were all the other presentations in this webinar series. And I read that one participant said that each one of these you know, sessions could become a whole webinar series. So I want to congratulate all of the speakers today, and congratulations to also, of course, Devin, who's been leading this initiative, had this wonderful idea, Loy, and all the CARICAD colleagues, and of course, my very dear colleagues who've been working so hard, Christina, Gregory, as always. But really thanks to all the speakers of today and from all of the webinar series. Maybe we're setting a path for something else. Thank you very much to everybody. Back to you, Loy.
Okay, thank you so much, Adriana, and I bid you all goodbye. Goodbye, be good evening. Enjoy the rest of your work day. It might be good night. Thank you so much for coming to all our registrants, those who joined us on YouTube, those joining us in the virtual space, those who might watch this recording delayed. Thanks to all. Take care.
Thank you, Lois. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Good day to all.